Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Trap Chat. I am your host, Kirsten Greggs, and this month of November, we are talking about Harvest of Joy, Giving Thanks. My guest this week is a beautiful person. Like, spirit just jumps off onto you. I know you are getting the vibes from her smile. I'm so excited to be joined by Sherrika Sanders, the owner and CEO of Transform the GAAP, where she is empowering, oh, y'all know I can't say that word, accounting professionals to align purpose with their career ambitions. Sherrika has over 15 years of experience in corporate accounting with private equity backed and privately held companies. She's also an adjunct professor and volunteer career coach at Dress for Success. She hails from the Atlanta metro area. She does all the mom duties. Maybe if we get to it, she'll tell the story about the sweatshirt that she told me a few weeks ago. But just an amazing person. And I'm just excited to have her here. Sherrika, welcome. How are you?
Thank you for having me. And I love that introduction. I wish I was writing it down because I need to pass that on to you. Just make me sound so good.
You can play back the recording. It'll be a transcript.
Yes.
You can get the transcript. Okay. Mm-hmm. So as we do the here on Trap Chat, can you please share your career journey from corporate accounting to founder and CEO or owner and CEO?
So first of all, I never, ever thought I would be in this place. And if someone told me that I would call them an outright lie and rebuke it in the name of Jesus. Like that was not me. And my husband has said it many times over the years, but I just was like, I am not an entrepreneur. I'm not a risk taker. Like, I enjoy being a W-2 employee. I love my security of being in corporate. I like knowing when I get paid. It's stressful, but I am good. But then one day I wasn't, and it was for an extended period of time. And honestly, I really think COVID was my pivot. I guess my pivot, when my eyes were open, whatever you want to call it, because working at home, even though I was still working at home for an extended period of time and then going back into the office. And it was like, when I went back into the office, my eyes were open and I'm like, who are these people? Why am I talking to you every day? Like, it really, really wasn't a healthy environment. And so I was like, you know what? It's time to go. And so I left my role. At that time, I was an assistant controller, found a new position with another company, then with a promoted role of corporate controller. But I realized, like, okay, people, great, fine, but still something is missing. And at this point, Sherrika, it's not another company. Like, we're not doing that. It's something else. And so I'm very spiritual. Prayed, fasted, like, Lord, I need to figure out what is happening. And entrepreneurship is what came of that. And I was like, it's me, Sherrika. Remember, I don't do entrepreneurship. I need you to just tell me what company I'm supposed to go to now. Or like what, but that's what it was. It's like everywhere I looked, it was about entrepreneurship. I meet up with a friend for dinner and she's asking me about it. I'm like, where did this come from? It's just was all over the place, getting a business coach and learning how to do contracts, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm doing this. And so I took that leap of faith. But what it was, while I was really good and still is, as an accountant, it was working with my team and helping them and seeing them go to that next level and helping them to understand if this really is the path for you or is it something else? And how can I be of service, honestly, to you? And I realized that was the part that I loved the most about what I did. And so now it's taking that piece that I did in corporate and doing it on my own terms.
Okay.
And so that was a very extended answer. Sorry.
No, that was a great segue into my first question, really. So you talked about the challenging environment, having been in corporate accounting for over 15 years. Was there
Mm-hmm.
a particular like defining moment, like like when it clicked? I know you mentioned COVID, but you
Mm-hmm.
fought it for a while. So was there like a moment when you said, you know what, I need to advocate for myself? And then how did that experience shape your mission with Transform the GAAP?
Yes. So there were things that happened throughout my career where but I would brush it under the rug because this is corporate and this is what happens in corporate. And so I think the first time that, and throughout my career, I was always being promoted, always, so it wasn't like, I can't say I was overlooked. I mean, but I worked a lot harder than a lot of other people to get where I got. But and I know that for a fact. But so the promotions came, the increases came, the bonuses came, but of course they weren't equal and they weren't the same as others, or others didn't have to do the same amount of work. And I remember one of the promotions that I received, I already knew that the CFO thought I was grossly underpaid, because when you have connections with the right people, they say things. And so I already knew that he thought I was grossly underpaid for my role. And so at this time, they had offered me a promotion. And at the time, I was expecting it for somebody on my team because I had been advocating for her, but not necessarily for myself at the time. And so they offered me, her the promotion as well as me. And I was like, okay. And then I saw the salary and I was like, wait a minute, hold on, because I already know that you think I'm grossly underpaid. And then this is a higher level role. Like I'm not slow by any means. And so I went to the person I reported to at that time and I was like, thank you for, the opportunity, so on and so forth. But this salary, and he made a comment of, I was just told to get you to six figures. So that's what I did. So you did the bare minimum? No,
Wow.
no. And so that was when, and from doing that, and he was like, I don't want to argue. I don't want to argue. And I'm not going to argue with you about it. But this needs to change. And so he told me to go to the source, the one who said that. And it was with that person that I made the negotiation. And we kind of went back and forth and then settled on something that I was okay with. And I almost didn't even do it because I had, on one side, I had a friend of mine saying, nope, you're right. That's too low. Like, no. And I don't care what, how big of a gap or whatever, it's too low for the role. And you know what they're going to ask of you in that role. And so on the other side, I had family saying, you should just be grateful that they thought to give you the role and the increase. And it sounds like you're being greedy and did it. And so I was like, no, I'm gonna have to go with how I feel, and I'm not comfortable with this. So we're gonna have a conversation, and whatever comes from it comes from it. But it was from that moment, and then being able to see how it worked out in my favor, where I was like, nope, not going back. You all open up something. You open up
Another
something with this.
another great segue, because you just outlined the steps you took to gain respect, recognition, and your fair compensation, even
Right.
when everybody else told you that it was fair to just settle. Don't like
Mm-hmm.
that. We got to reprogram ourselves not to
Yes.
tell those that we care about, those that we love, those in our
Yes.
families, our friends, not to take those risks sometimes. Ooh, oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that just
I hit a nerve.
that was triggering. No, that was triggering. Because even what you said about your manager saying, "Well, I did this and this," like I've had people tell me, like really, like belittle the
Mm-hmm.
things that I've done
Yep.
to
Yep.
satisfy their not wanting to give
Yes.
me what I deserved and what I earned.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
okay, but we're not going to dwell on me. This is about you. This show is about you. Okay, how can others replicate the process that you took to, like I said, gain respect, gain the recognition, and the fair compensation in your career?
It's honestly having ethics and morals. And I want to say being true to yourself, but you have to know who yourself is. And so, like I tell people all the time, I first went into management around the time that I started having kids. And I am so grateful that it didn't happen for me before then, because that gave me, it wasn't like, oh, these are the babies, let me take care of the people in corporate. No, it wasn't. I'm not the shoulder. I'm not the shoulder to cry on. We can vent, we can talk about the things, but I'm not the shoulder. But it made me more compassionate, and it made me realize that people really do just have things going on in life. And sometimes they just need you to be there and help to support them. And as you help support them in those things, they will turn around and they will go to the ends of the earth for you. And so it was really just being myself and understanding that my title didn't mean that I didn't have to dig in, that I didn't have to get my hands dirty. Like I remember this is definitely over 20 years ago. I worked in a billing call center. And so we did the billing. We got all the questions about people bills and that sort of thing. And at that time, I remember being promoted, and everybody was young. We were all like early 20s. And so I remember being promoted to a supervisor in that particular environment. And then one day our call queue was really busy. And so I was like, well, I still have a login. Let me just log into the phone so we can get the queue down. And they were like, what are you doing? You're a supervisor. And the supervisors don't normally, do we have calls in the queue? Yes or no? Do we need to get the calls down? Yes or no? Okay, well, everybody mind your business. Let me do this. But it was something that it was after that I really started to see a newfound appreciation from them for my role, because none of the other people who had been in that role would do that for them. They were like, I'm not getting on the phone. Like, they were above it. But I realized it was when I stopped thinking about myself and was there to say, what do you need? How can I help you, to the people that I work with, is when like we started to make things happen. Because then they would say, hey, I'm about to leave, but do you need anything from me before I do? Hey, I'm going to be off, but if you need me, call me. I'm available. I'm not doing anything, things like that. And just knowing that they had my back the same way that I had theirs. So that's what I would say. Just remember that, yeah, it is a business and we have to get the work done, but we are still dealing with people. And people have feelings and compassion, and all of those things go a long way. Not being a pushover, but just being a person.
I love that. And another great segue. I know we haven't mentioned it yet, but it is scrolling across the bottom. So GAAP, for people that know what accounting is, what is it? General accepted accounting practices.
Yes, principles.
Did I say principles? Okay, sorry. But you have your own acronym, which is goals, assigned, achieving, purpose.
Yes.
So tell us, how do you help people identify and develop the essential skills needed to transition from those support roles? So that role where your job is the queue, to deciding if you want to step into the queue, or any other strategic or growth oriented position.
So of course there are things that are specific to the person, but overall it's really 4 major parts that I look at or when working with others. So the first one is just goal assignment. What are your goals? What is it that you want? And we talk about short term as well as long term, because ultimately the things, when you start talking about your goals, are they really aligned with what you're doing now? And do we just need to fine tune some things, or is it you're in the completely wrong space? But we start off with the goals. But within those goals and within setting those timeframes, we make it realistic. So first of all, if you know nothing about accounting today, but you want to be a senior accountant next year, that may sound a little bit unrealistic. What are some steps we can take to get to that point? And so we definitely look at taking miniature or mini goals and say, okay, well, if this ultimate goal is a year from now, what can we do within the next 30 days? What can we do within the next 90 days? And moving forward so that we have some milestones that we can celebrate, because and that will help to keep you motivated as well. It helps you to see that, okay, I'm making progress, but then you also can see your transition as you work towards that thing that you ultimately want. So that's the biggest pieces. Goal setting. And then we also go through some aligning personal goals and personal values with organizational values if it's someone who wants to stay with their current company. And then we work on leadership development. And then the final thing is, okay, now that you've obtained that role, that position that you were looking for, how do we work to make sure you are have sustainability, that you're not, working the excessive hours, that you have a balance, that you're actually happy, and this is what you really wanted it to be.
You're making my job so easy. I could just sit here and let you talk because you did it again.
I segue.
Segue. It's like the only word I can say properly. How do you prioritize and balance and purpose? Or excuse me, let me start over. How do you prioritize and maintain balance and purpose in your various demanding roles as owner and CEO of Transform the GAAP, adjunct professor, volunteer career coach, IAW influencer, wife, mother, sister to a Scorpio? Like, how do you do all of these basic things? That last one was the hardest one. I know, because I'm a Scorpio too.
I'm a mother of a Scorpio.
Oh my! I thought your brother was a Scorpio.
I'm a mother of a Scorpio. Yep.
Well, God bless you. God bless you.
Yeah. But my poor child. But
happy birthday to the baby.
Yes, because his birthday is Sunday. So thank you.
Yes.
You know what? It's understanding that I cannot do it all by myself. That was something that I really, because initially I was under the impression that I have to do all the things. I'm responsible for all the things, and I am successful when I'm able to do all the things and I let none of the balls drop. But some days a ball is going to get dropped. And then it's like, oh, it's devastating. How could I let this happen? How could I have forgotten about that? But then it was realizing that, wait a minute, number one, you are not doing this alone. I do actually have a whole husband. And my thing was, I have to go get the kids and then I have to take them here. And then they have a doctor's appointment. Then I have to go to this at the school. And I'm like, but there's a whole body that's right here. I have family that's nearby. Like, you utilize those resources. And then also for me, I write everything down. I'm a list person. Everything has to go in my calendar. It has to go in my planner. And that's not so that I have a, military type schedule of at this time we're doing this and at this time we're doing that. But it does help to work as a guide for me to say, okay, at this point I should be transitioning to working on this. At this point I should be going over here. We have 3 kids. So even having a husband, we're still outnumbered because they're all very active in all the things. And so, I mean, even this morning, the 2 oldest ones are both on field trips. But one had to be at school at one time and one had to be at the school at another time. Then my youngest, we also had to drop him off for something else. And it was like, okay, who's going to get the 2 and who's going to get 1? And it's our life. And it's one, make sure you're enjoying it. Like, if you're enjoying what you're doing, I enjoy all of these roles. So it makes it easy. I don't mind the times that I have to sacrifice and I'm going from here to there and all over. But if you're not enjoying it, then that you need to take a step back and reassess and say, okay, what is happening? What is happening in this space that is not bringing me fulfillment? And please know that fulfillment should not come from somebody else. It's self-fulfillment. And what is happening in this space where I no longer have fulfillment? What is it that I need to change? But yes, it's having help, making lists, and then being disciplined enough to try to stick with those, or at least use it as a resource.
Awesome. Well, we have reached the theme question in our final question in this section.
Okay.
As we have said all month, gratitude inspires us to give back, as proven by you telling the story about how when you gave back, people showed their gratitude by also giving back to you.
Mm-hmm.
Thinking about the theme, harvest of joy, giving thanks, how have you harvested joy and expressed gratitude to your professional network? And in what ways have these acts of appreciation strengthened your relationships and contributed to positive outcomes in your career?
So, when I first started in this space, I went on LinkedIn and would reach out to people who were doing something similar, whether it was a career coach or people in the accounting space or speakers, just different people. I was just doing random search words in LinkedIn and would see who would come up and look at their profile. And I'm like, yep, that's somebody I would want to talk to. And I would send them a message, just, introducing myself, saying I'm an early entrepreneur and would they mind having a call with me just so I can pick their brain and ask questions. And I thought I was even crazy for doing it at first, but it was I would probably say 98% of the people responded favorably, and we had conversations and they, gave advice, and this is what I did. And I was so, so grateful. And I told each of them then, but then I also went back and posted something on LinkedIn, as I did it twice. I did it one time, a few months probably after I was kind of getting into the flow of things. And then again, during Women's History Month, I posted something like just to say, thank you. Yeah, we have some great historical women in our history, but I just wanted to take the time to thank the women who are right here, right now, who are making it happen and making history. And even now, again, this platform to say it, because that was just, it really helped out a lot. People saying you don't have to pay for all of these, services. There are things that are free and you don't have to always, spend money on this, just little things that I didn't know or didn't think about. So that is definitely a way. But honestly, even outside of the professional, because I always would try to do things for my team each quarter, at least each quarter, order in lunch. Let's order in lunch. It doesn't mean you have to eat at your desk, but just so everybody doesn't have to worry about leaving. Or whenever, if we, completed a project, I'm going to go advocate for everyone involved to get a bonus or some kind of, reward or something for that. But I think one of the things I had to start doing, because I realized and appreciating the people that I work with in a corporate space and spending all of the time with them, I was sacrificing the personal people in my life. And so I had to learn how to start showing them gratitude and giving more of myself to them and telling them thank you and I appreciate it and all of those things, because I think sometimes we get caught up in, I'm so glad for what they did for me. And then for family, we're like, well, that's what you're supposed to do. And so being able to still say thank you, because they don't have to do a lot of the things that they do. And so just still being able to say thank you, period. It goes a long way.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. You have shared so many tremendous tidbits and gems that the audience can use. And I do hope that folks will, see the stuff scroll on the bottom. Go ahead and check you out. I forgot to put your website address, but you can give that at the very, 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 very end, because it is time for the rapid fire questions, my favorite part. Who is a well-known and or lesser known historical or contemporary figure who inspires you and we should learn more about?
Okay, so I know this is rapid fire, but who it was for me, and it's not that anybody that you're thinking about or ever would think about.
Good. I love that. I love the surprises.
It's Jesus. So I'm going through a course right now called Lead Like Jesus. And it's about how being an effective leader resonates, and, having compassion, all of these things that we don't think about these days. And from what I understand, it's also a leadership book that Chick-fil-A, I don't know if they currently use it, but they used to use it in their management and training their managers. And so, but that's it, because there are so many people who have dropped nuggets here and there, and it sounds kind of sad when I think about it, but I've never had that one person that was just like, okay, this is my ultimate mentor or that ultimate, but there are several people through life where I just like, oh, I got something from them. Okay, I can pick up that. Okay, I can keep that. So that's my rapid answer.
Well, I think you're overthinking it.
Probably.
It could be anybody. There's no wrong answer. There's no wrong answer. You are not going to be scored at the end. It's whatever. Listen, you could be like Snoop Dogg and be like, I want to thank me. I inspire
Right.
me. And
And
I would
God, I
say, you
thought
know
about it.
what? We need to learn more about you. And that's why I have you here, because we need to learn more about you too.
Uh-huh.
What fictional
Yeah.
character gives you a glimpse of yourself?
So I don't know, this may be overthinking it again, but technically the character is fictional.
Okay.
Claire Huxtable.
Yes.
That because she
Yes.
was the ultimate career woman, mom, all
Mom.
the things. She did all the things and she did it with
Yes.
style, with
Mm-hmm.
grace, and just it was like nothing ruffled her feathers. But if you crossed the line or mess with one of her kids,
If you
so
went out
so
and had big fun with the wretched,
right.
you were going to get checked.
Right.
If you asked her if she serves her man, Elvin, you were going to get checked. I'm still trying to get the precise cadence of that read. And when I
Yes.
do, that might be my first TikTok. Because that's high level. That's high level.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I love that. I love that one. Here we go. Whew. What is your favorite empowering quote?
There's a couple, but I would say my favorite one is you miss 100% of the opportunities you don't take.
Yes, I love it. Okay. If you could spend the day shadowing someone in a different profession from your own, who would it be and what would you hope to learn from them?
So I think accountants are black and white. The answer is right or wrong, yes or no.
Okay.
I would say a defense attorney because how
Ooh.
the grace that I feel like they have, plus I feel like I would have been an attorney in another life, but anyway, the grace that I feel like I don't know if it's grace, I don't know what it is that they have, but how you can separate yourself from the person you're having to defend and whether they are guilty or not, and just still be able to fight for them as if you know that they're innocent and haven't done anything wrong. So I think it would be a defense attorney.
Okay. What is your go-to songs, or music genre when you want to hype yourself up to conquer the day?
Okay, so right now there's this one song that I've been listening to that was new, I thought, and then I saw that it came out like years ago.
Oh.
So the overall genre would be gospel music because even when I'm angry and I don't want to, whatever, it'll get me there.
Okay.
And so it's that, but there's a particular song called Big by Pastor Mike Jr. that I just started hearing maybe a couple of months ago, but it came out some years ago. And I was like, oh, that song will make me. Yes.
I don't know that song. And I don't know if you know, but I love gospel music. So I don't know why I don't know that.
I didn't know why I didn't know it, but I was like, oh, this is a great song he just came out with. And then I looked on YouTube and I think the video was from 3 or 4 years ago. And I was like,
wow.
wait a minute.
Well, you get a COVID pass for that.
Okay.
COVID pass. Okay. What's the best piece of career advice you've received that you would give your younger career self?
I would have spoke up for myself, advocating for myself earlier than I did.
Okay.
Because I didn't thinking that, you know, oh, there are going to be consequences and whatever else. So that would definitely be it.
All right. If you wrote a book describing your career so far, what would the title be?
Who doesn't belong in this picture? You remember back in the day, they'll show all the things that look just alike, and it'll be one thing that's different, and they'll say what doesn't belong, or who doesn't belong in this picture?
Because wasn't there a song? One of these kids is doing his own thing. One of these kids is
not like the other, or something like that. Mm-hmm.
Now it's time to play our game. It's time to play our game. Sorry. What is that from? Is that Sesame Street?
I think it is Sesame Street. Yeah.
Okay. I'm very old. Wow.
Well, I'm right there with you, so
you're right.
We're just seasoned.
But listen, muscle memory. I remember the lyrics at least the way that I thought what they were. You know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh man, we reached the last question. Oh, I know. Okay. What are you most looking forward to as the year comes to an end, whether it's a personal goal, project, or initiative, professional milestone, or an exciting opportunity?
I would say new opportunities for collaborations.
Okay.
There's been some talks of some things, and so looking forward to where that leads.
Nice.
Meeting some health goals when I finally stop just really focusing on I have to do, and just start
Doing.
slowly making changes to my lifestyle. I'm seeing those adjustments. So
Love it.
seeing where that takes me. I think those are two of the biggest, and just seeing what is to come, because I know it's going to be big.
I know that's right. So tell everyone where they can follow up with you, where they can follow you, check you out, learn more about Transform the Gap, invite you to speak, invite you to coach them, whatever the case may be.
Yes, so you can definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn, Sherrika Sanders, spelled correctly there, but also on my website, Transform the Gap, and that's GAAP.com. You can send a note. You can find out more about the services that I offer. If you just have a question, lady, what are you doing? I'm just trying to figure out more about what's going on. Just send, I am okay. I am open to that. Or you just have a quick question. I've had people to reach out and say, I just have this one thing that is happening with me right now. Can you help? Sure. Let's talk about it.
I love it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Again, your smile is so infectious. I just love it. You're always smiling. And I just sit there whenever I'm like, get a little stressed. I just read your stuff behind you. Like, you got the right setup. I love it. Thank you again, Sherrika Sanders, for joining me. Make sure you check her out on LinkedIn. Make sure that you check out Transform the Gap. That's Transform the GAAP.com. And we will see you next time on Trap Chat. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.